What is up, our fellow battalion? It is your boy Trey of the Bat Channel. We are live once again, coming to you with a brand new Jurassic World Rebirth review. I am actually really excited to talk about this movie. As you saw, maybe our out of theater reaction with the Wonder Wife and I have some thoughts about this movie. I think it's easily going to be one of the most controversial films of the franchise. And for better or worse, maybe that's okay. Or maybe it completely destroyed the franchise. But we're going to talk about that tonight. Because even I am somewhat mixed on it. There's moments where I kind of wake up and go, well, maybe this was done on purpose and they have a clear vision of where this goes. And then the other thought of me goes, I think they just completely took what was set up in Dominion and the first three films and just kind of threw it out the door. I don't know. We're going to discuss it though. So, you already know. Let's go through all the pleasantries before we begin tonight's show. Thank you guys for being so patient with us. Parenting is a different world now. Not a ton of free time content creating, but you can follow us on one of our social media pages like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at _Bat Channel. It is a wonderful way to just find out what's going on in the entertainment industry and to get in touch with us because there's a lot going on in the movie world. We just talked about how the box office was extremely successful for the 4th of July with Jurassic World Rebirth, especially bringing in numbers that people weren't expecting. It was beyond the high end for Jurassic World Rebirth. So that just shows the fans are still loving it. No matter how long this franchise goes, they ain't getting bored. At least not yet. What's up, Dadpool? And of course, you can follow us over at Facebook at Holy Bat Channel if you guys are over there. And as always, it helps us out so much. You guys smash that like, you share this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Help us reach 10,000 subscribers. That is our goal. Hoping to get to 5,000 subs by the end of the year, but you guys are asking, why 10,000? Super Bro Corey and I love to do these fundraisers, super chat streams where we were raising money for things like American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, for Feeding America, for the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund, which is a big deal. Obviously in Houston right now, we're keeping all the people in Texas in our prayers. But Corey and I love doing that, but how we were raising money because we couldn't just do fundraiser streams that YouTube has an option to do. We were raising it through you guys' super chats. But YouTube takes 30% out of your super chats. And that didn't sit well with Super Bro Corey and I when we were raising money for these foundations. So Corey and I would put our money back in to cover the cost that YouTube was taking from your guys' dollars and putting it back into the fundraiser, so your whole dollar went in, and then Corey and I would throw in a little extra for our portion that we wanted to donate. You guys are super generous, which is awesome, but it made it really, really difficult to keep up with covering the costs that YouTube takes out. So for us to bypass all that and not have to worry about YouTube taking your money anymore, or at least a portion of it when we want to do these charity streams, we got to hit 10,000 subs, and we can't do that without you guys. So please spread the word, get your friends involved, get your family, have them subscribe to the Bat Channel, join the battalion, so that way we can do some really, really cool stuff in the future with you guys. And of course, I see Beyond the Night already coming in hot with a $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. Saying, I'm ready for a Dynamite stream, #battalion. Beyond the Night, you never disappoint. You're always coming in hot, and I love it. Super Bro Corey, can you play Beyond the Night? We'll sometimes say thank you for your $10 super chat, sir.
And we can charge anything we want, 2,000 a day, 10,000 a day, and people will pay it.
This park was not built to cater only for the super rich.
What, we'll have a coupon day or something.
Coupon day for your $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate Beyond the Night. And of course, all the cool streams we've already done with the Bat Channel. We got from Predator. We're doing a whole bunch of entertainment. James Bond, Frankenstein coming up on Netflix. Of course, all the Jurassic World Rebirth that we're going crazy about. Godzilla, Alien Earth, Mission Impossible. This is your entertainment hub. So there's far more than just dinosaurs. There's far more than just Batman. We are an entertainment channel. The Bat Channel is just a slogan, ladies and gentlemen. Crash, Joshua, it's good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing well. I heard you loved Jurassic World Rebirth, so I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it in the chat, my man. And Wolf Creed, good to see you guys. Corey, my greatest co-host I could ever ask for. My man in the chair, the Dennis Nedry, he gets paid well and won't destroy our channel.
You see, I'm so underappreciated here.
You get paid a little. How you doing, big fella?
What's up, everybody? How are we doing today? I might be a little bit laggy. There's a lot of stuff going on here today, but I'm excited to be here and spend some time talking about Jurassic World Rebirth with you all. I did not see it opening weekend, Trey. I'm sorry about that. I ended up seeing it on Tuesday. What's that?
Still works. That still works, my man.
All right.
Yeah. Corey, who's on the chat today? Who's here?
Dude, we have a lot of people filing in for us, even though we've been gone for a little bit. So we appreciate your time coming back with us. We have Oracle's Clock Tower here, as always, Beyond the Night, Red Hooded Outlaw, the Butler, Carrie Kelly. Again, Beyond the Night, thank you again so much for that awesome super chat, my friend. Fred Alien, Joker's Wild. One second. There we go. Scrolling. Nine Lives in Hell here. The Batman Who Laughs. Bat Fanatic. Being Classified. Hashtag Restore the Snyderverse Guy. Atomic Kaiju 1954. Hugh Lee.
What's up, brother?
Dadpool in the house. Dadpool saw it with me on Tuesday. We have Kaiju Cryptic Roland, I think I said. Dark Jurassic. Wolf Creed, Crash the Puppet, Red Robin, and people are still filing in.
I love it. I love seeing you guys
Sean
here.
Franklin, what's up, Sean Franklin?
What's up, Sean? It's been a while, dude.
Here. Clever Girl. We have people who have seen this movie 6 times already in the chat.
I'm jealous. I do want to watch it again. I've only had the chance to watch it once, but I plan to see it this weekend again, just because the initial shock is over now.
Kaylin Lari's here.
Hey, Kaylin, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. I saw Jurassic World Rebirth in 3D. Had a good time. I really love the movie. Kaylin, how was it in 3D? Because I remember seeing Jurassic World in 3D, and I was actually fairly impressed with how that 3D show was. I mean, you know, sometimes the 3D can be cheesy, like Jaws 3D cheesy.
Trey, I would actually like to see that. I would like to see that as a chat poll, buddy. Can we get a? Did you see it just regular 2D, 3D, Adobe, fun stuff, IMAX, all the good things in the world? How did you experience Jurassic World Rebirth for the first time? Or all of the above if you've seen it 6+ times already. Good God, my friend, I'm loving that.
Dude, Adobe, IMAX is kind of one.
IMAX is kind of one.
4DX, which is I'd be curious if anyone saw in 4DX. That would be nuts,
man. Especially during the river raft scene.
Woo! I can't wait to talk about that scene.
You're getting wet there.
Okay, here we go. All right, I just started the poll. We got Dolby IMAX, 4DX, 3D, and standard. Let us know. Curious to see how you guys do it. And of course, we will be sure, if you haven't seen Jurassic World Rebirth yet, I will let you know when we're about to get into spoilers. Obviously, the river raft scene's not a spoiler because it was in all the trailers, so hard to kind of miss that one. But yes. Kaylin, very, very cool with seeing it in 3D. That's awesome. That makes me happy to hear that you had a wonderful experience. And I will say this about and Corey, I'm curious about your theatrical experience now that we're talking about it, but not often do I hear people applaud at the end of a movie. It's very rare. I think, honestly, the last time I saw the whole sold-out theater applaud was Top Gun Maverick. And that was like obnoxious applauding at the end, like standing ovation kind of thing for like a minute. Jurassic World Rebirth got a 15-second applause at my theater, which is kind of nuts. Because, like I said, it's very rare. I've seen a lot of films I think, okay, maybe that deserves it opening night. And I was shocked that Jurassic World Rebirth got that reaction. Did you get that similar reaction?
So, mind you, Trey, I live in a small rural town, USA. And the last time I heard somebody clap in the movie theater was definitely Top Gun Maverick. Every time I saw it, and mind you, I'm a double ace when it comes to Top Gun Maverick. But people clapped every single time and cheered and everything like that. Guess what happened, bro? Jurassic World Rebirth. We got claps. We got cheers. We got woo! That was awesome. Best movie of the year comments. People were like talking off the chain. There was a lot of applause, a lot of excitement, and just a lot of good things to be said about the movie Jurassic World Rebirth. So I was like, okay.
I'm shocked by that. I really am, because obviously the critics, which we never listen to the critics on this channel. If you've watched us at all, critics to me, they're like people who are movie lovers who somehow don't enjoy the movies, and the ones they do enjoy, I somewhat question. Like they clearly don't like what the audience likes, and usually you can see, on average, the audience scores about 30 points different in either negative or positive. It's very rare that they tend to match up. But with Jurassic World Rebirth, this is another instance where, what's up, Brownie859 says, I was upset Chris Pratt was not in it. Yeah, it would have been cool to have Chris Pratt, or at least mentioned some way, but I could see him maybe returning. I think he's interested, if I heard correctly. Caitlin says it was like TV 3D, but it was really good in 3D. But I love how they kept Rexy's roars for the new T-Rex and the classic music. I almost cried. I do have some thoughts about that. Being a huge music lover, I have some opinions.
Oh, I'm excited to talk to you about this, because I think we might have different scores here. Is the way
I think we will, which we did during Dominion, didn't we? You and I deferred a lot on Dominion. I was kind of.
Do you remember our scores for Dominion? Was I higher
I don't,
than you?
But I seem to recall.
I think I was higher than you, wasn't I?
You were definitely way higher than me. You were trying to convince me to get into the 9s, because I think you were in the 9s. But I think what some of the issue I had with Dominion was I was expecting, because they were bringing back the original cast, part of my brain said, it has to be a masterpiece. It has to be a masterpiece. And I think that's an unfair expectation to put on a film, especially with a franchise where none of the movies in the franchise have really been perfect like the first Jurassic Park film. But holy hell, Joshua, dude, you are incredible.
Attaboy. He kept the receipts.
He kept the receipt. Joshua, did you just like have that in your memory, or wait, was I really that much of a difference? I don't remember being that different. I thought I was like mid to high 8s.
Hey, Jack, that's what it was.
Okay. Wow, I'm surprised I was that harsh.
Or 8 something, he said.
Or 8 something. See, now you have me doubting Josh. No, just kidding. But no, that's cool, dude. Dinosaurs were a lot different. T-Rex was in, but not a lot. Yeah, it's we'll definitely get into that with the different dinosaur designs that they had, and just the overall story. So basically how we're going to break it down, if you guys haven't seen us do a movie review before, is we talk about the most important thing first, which is always story. The story is the biggest thing. Then we talk about the characters, the performances of the actors, and how they were able to lift or maybe hurt the story. And then we talk about the director and the cinematography and the music, all the behind the scenes stuff that really give that movie its extra flair that boosts it, because you got to have people on top of their game for it. And you know how I feel about Gareth Edwards, being a huge Godzilla fan, and what he did with Godzilla 2014, and hell, even the best Disney Star Wars film with Rogue One. He's definitely one of my favorite newer directors of this generation, and I think he's the perfect man for this job if he wants to continue. And then we'll talk about maybe some theories and some sequel ideas. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff, and then we'll give our score. We'll give our score about how we felt about it. Anything above a 5 means it's worth seeing in theaters. 6 is like, yeah, it was okay, some good things, but not a lot of rewatchability. 7, we're talking about like, yeah, it's good, it's solid, 8, we're talking about, yeah, man, it's a great film. 9, we're in the place of, okay, it's a kick-ass film. It's fantastic. Watch it multiple times in theater. 9.5 and higher, we're talking about masterpiece, like cinema history right there. So Wolf Creed says a screenshot came up on my YouTube page. It was a picture of a Snickers bar wrapper, and it said, "The true villain of Jurassic World Rebirth." I laughed so hard. Well, it's actually kind of funny you said that, because the moral of the story of Jurassic World Rebirth is you're not you when you're hungry. This ad is from Snickers. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Snickers is not a sponsor.
Snickers, if you do want to sponsor us, though, we're here.
We are here. We are here, and Snickers are good.
Just make sure you don't put any Red 40 in there or anything like that.
Oh my god. But yeah, so we'll definitely go over everything, and like I said, we'll talk about spoilers and things like that. Joshua says, "I've already seen it 3 times. I got issues." Okay, I'd be curious to hear what you say about that, Joshua. I'm curious what your 3 issues are. But one thing, let's start on a very happy note, which I think as Jurassic World, Jurassic Park fans, this is awesome. The fact that it completely surpassed expectations. People were expecting it to be on the low end, maybe around 110, maybe $115 million. It did over $120 million domestically. So it surpassed expectations. And then globally, Jurassic World as a franchise proves to be one of the biggest theater-going audiences of all time. So that's awesome. It opened up with $322.6 million, which is great because it's going to need it. If you see, I have a little graph of like all the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies, what they've done. It's adjusted for inflation. And we see how crazy good Jurassic Park was and the rewatchability it had with a lot of moviegoers. With Jurassic World Rebirth, I heard it's going to need right around like 960 million, if I recall. It might be $970 million to keep the average of the franchise to $1 billion, which is pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Obviously, that's not given the fact of that adjusted inflation right there, because if you're looking at like you wouldn't need 900 million. It's just if they didn't adjust the inflation and looked at all the films prior, it needs about 970 million to keep it a $1 billion franchise per movie. But other than that, I think it's fair to say it started out strong. I think, unfortunately, we're going to see a huge dip in the second weekend, which you tend to with any movie. But this was the worry I had about the month of July movies. You got a couple of big heavy hitters possibly coming in that are, if anything, if they don't take the money away, what they will take away from Jurassic World this second weekend and the third weekend is the amount of showings it gets, especially in premium theaters.
And I have a call to action for people for this weekend specifically. July 11th, this weekend, go see Jurassic World Rebirth again and post it on Twitter, social media, and make sure you tag us in it. I want to see when you guys show up to the movie theater again, because we're going to make Jurassic World Rebirth awesome again this week.
Yes, well. I love it. Yeah, go ahead and tag us, definitely. I love to see when you guys attend to the movie theaters. If you're watching us on Instagram, I always post when my Wonder Wife and we go to the movie theaters. The best part about going to the movie theater with my Wonder Wife, especially for a Jurassic film, because I'm a dino nerd, we left our 2-month-old baby with the grandparents, and she was like, I left one child to go to a movie with another child because I was buying all the movie merch, like the Jurassic World T-Rex cup, and of course the popcorn footprint bucket. So yeah, do I have a problem? Maybe. I don't know. Take my money. When it comes to Jurassic, I think I have like 3 different copies of the 4K version of Jurassic Park. So do I have a problem? Joshua says Superman was great. I saw it today, but Jurassic World was better in my opinion. But no, the Superman boys, they'll go 3 times a day.
Actually,
I don't know. Super Bro Corey is the Superman, obviously.
Actually, I'm a Superman fan, and I will not be seeing this movie. Will not be seeing it. So, nice try, James Gunn.
Kaylin says if Jurassic World Rebirth makes $1 billion, it's possible that we'll get another. I think so. As much as this movie is a standalone in the franchise, I think if it does as well as the previous Jurassic World films have done, I think it's a no-brainer that Universal will greenlight a sequel. I think, if anything, what I hope they do is maybe they don't fast track it this round. Because just to give you an idea, when they announced the new Jurassic World film, they announced it in January 2024. Not a month later, they announced Gareth Edwards was going to be the director. So he had really kind of a year to get everything underway, get all the actors in, film, do all the visual effects, which this had the most visual effects shots out of any Jurassic World film in history. So that's nuts, especially for the quality that we got in this movie. So when you think about it, this movie was such on a fast train that I don't think Gareth Edwards was really given a chance to kind of throw more of his flair. And I think he read the script, loved the script. Obviously, it's from David Koepp, and who did the original Jurassic Park and Lost World film, and kind of just went with the groove of it. You know, did what he was basically a director for hire rather than a director for creativity. Which there's nothing wrong with that because, like you said, you still get the film that you did, and it's really solid. So Jurassic World might be taking the backstage. Yeah, it might, just in terms of the amount of showings.
I'm telling you, people are saying that consider it done, Super Bro Corey. I want to see your pictures. Listen here, I'm a Superman fan. I love Superman. But I will not be watching this upcoming Superman movie. And I'm definitely going to be supporting Jurassic World Rebirth one more time, at least in this weekend. It's rodeo weekend, so it's going to be a crazy weekend up here. But you better believe I will be watching Jurassic World Rebirth one more time. So you make sure you send me pictures, people. Send me pictures of you supporting. Especially, is it true about the? I know we kind of mentioned it earlier about the reviews for this, but I've heard there may have been some review bombing. Is that factual information, Trey, or?
Who knows? I didn't go through every individual's review on, because I like to form my own opinion first. So, I just don't bother with it. And, but to each their own. If they are review bombing, people are going to make their own decisions of what they like. What's up, Puzzleroid saying the movie felt like they saw Jurassic Park 3 when they were younger and were like, damn, I want to do that my own way. It's really funny you say that because my thoughts were, and this is like a tagline, I felt like this film may have came out like 20 years too late, because it felt like this is what Jurassic Park 3 should have been in a way. I'll go into that further later, but yeah. Wolf Creed says, have you all ever watched Clayton? He does reviews of, you're talking about Clayton Fiordi? Yes. Yeah, I do. I love his channel. Seems like a really great dude. Keeping his dad in my thoughts. I know his dad is having some health issues at the moment, so sending my prayers out to him. But yeah, he's a wonderful YouTuber, and I love his content. And I've been curious about I haven't seen what he's said about Jurassic World Rebirth yet, but I'm sure he has some pretty interesting takes. I think he disliked Dominion, but to each their own of how they feel about certain things. But yeah, he's a great Jurassic Park World YouTuber. I would have been down for an ending where like a genuinely kaiju-sized carnivore arm picks up the D-Rex and like drags it into the forest. Gosh, that would have I think taken it to a bit of a far place. I already know a lot of general audience people were kind of like unsure about the D-Rex, but I think once they saw the initial vision and how it was used in the movie, I think they were warmed up to the idea a little bit. But I think if they would have added that at the end, I think people would have just threw their hands up and be like, okay, this has gone too far. Even though secretly that would have been kind of awesome. Yeah. You guys have some great thoughts. Here, I'm going to close the poll real quick while
let's see where we're at. I'm excited to see this poll, actually.
I am too. Let's see. Okay,
I agree with this,
how did you experience Jurassic World Rebirth? Out of 22 votes, 9% 4DX. It's awesome. I was kind of curious of how it was in 4DX. 13% said 3D. 18% said standard, and then the majority at 59% was Dolby and IMAX. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm a big, like, when it comes to Jurassic Park and Jurassic World films, like, I don't think there is a better way to see it than Dolby personally, because when you hear the dinosaurs stomping around, you want to feel your seat like rumble and like kind of almost give you that 5.1 Dolby Atmos surround sound that makes you feel like a dinosaur is approaching you. It kind of, there's a primal theme that really happens with that, where you kind of go, oh my God, am I in danger right now? And that's why I love Dolby so much. But I think anyone who saw it in those other versions, very, very cool. Poser says standard, but it was legit an amazing experience. I was worried about audio, but it was loud. Oh, well, that's impressive, because most of the time when I've gone to standard, I'm like, my home system has, and it's not like great, it's not like a home theater system, but I do have some nice speakers, mid-range speakers that can do the job, and I always feel like they give me some more oomph than a regular standard theater, but it could just be how my AMC theaters here in Colorado are acting up. But Joshua says, I'm actually glad because it sets up for more, and we might get a Jurassic Park Spino versus D-Rex in the future. You've heard about the rumor then, huh? Maybe? Okay, so guys, if you have not seen Jurassic World Rebirth, this is your opportunity right now. Oh, where is my clicker? There it is. That's the problem of having so many monitors. If you have not seen Jurassic World Rebirth, this is your warning, your spoiler warning. We're going to go into it and dive in deep. So, here we go.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I saw that. I was like, that's so much fun. So, also agree. Yeah, Clayton's dad is in our thoughts and prayers. Yeah. I'm really pulling for him, hoping he's doing okay. I can understand that's not good timing. Well, it's never good timing. But I appreciate you. Thank you for doing that for him. I know he really thinks about that. So we get to Jurassic World Rebirth, right? You get this whole little flashback scene, 17 years. All in all, this is the first time in a Jurassic Park movie, in Jurassic World, where they've started the movie, well, other than the flashback, but the main storyline starts in the future. I think technically it takes place in 2028. It's like 5 years after Jurassic World Dominion. So that's kind of interesting. Now we're in the future game here. But with the beginning, we get the flashback with the Engine facility, where we learn that in the process of opening up Jurassic World and the public getting bored with dinosaurs, which is nuts to me, because as a dinosaur nerd, I think I would work at Jurassic Park. I would stop what I was doing right now and go. I know we see so many movies tell us why it's a bad idea to have Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. I'd still go. It's a toxic trait. I get it, but I would do it. But the idea that they need to create cooler, crazier dinosaurs to interest the public in coming back, so they did it at this other facility where they had Metodons. And this is nothing new, right? We've seen in Jurassic World that there was a lot of dinosaurs in the making, like this Stegoceratops and a few others. But here, where they were developing, probably the Indominus Rex at one point and perfected it, they came up with a few abominations. One of them being the Distortus Rex, or the D-Rex, and the Metodons, right? And it is crazy to me that in this high-class, top-of-the-line facility, that the one thing that would bring it all down is a Snickers wrapper. Now, that seems a bit far-fetched. And honestly, I kind of thought it was comedic. A lot of people kind of laughed about it in the theaters, but this was a thing that initially kind of hit me wrong. I was kind of like, really? That seems dumb that this is how this whole place would fall apart because of a single Snickers bar wrapper. But then I kind of thought about it after, and I was like, in a way, it's a very Ian Malcolm chaos theory thing, that the smallest thing could completely send this facility in destruction. and let the D-Rex out and cause a whole bunch of chaos. But you also get the great Gareth Edwards, who just, anytime you see him with red lights, he brings back that crazy tension suspension like he did in Star Wars Rogue One with Darth Vader hallway scene, and with Godzilla 2014, the opening scene of that. It was very reminiscent of that scene. So it gave us that premise, but then we learn, once it kind of shows us, okay, that's how that facility shuts down or gets destroyed. We learn what's going on with the world after Jurassic World Dominion. The Neo-Jurassic Age, as they're calling it. And it's interesting to learn that the Jurassic world of dinosaurs that are now ruling the Earth have not succeeded. They failed because of the climate. And the dinosaurs weren't able to acclimate to that climate and to the different lifestyle, the different food resources that were available. So a lot of them were dying out and had to go to the equator. Here's one of those issues I have where it's like Dominion and Fallen Kingdom really created the Jurassic world. And by doing this storyline where the dinosaurs basically migrated to the equator, to the tropics, so it was warmer weather that was more similar to what they had during their lives and, in the Jurassic, Cretaceous, Triassic period, Mesozoic era. To me, it kind of throws us in this place where a lot of people had issues with, like, do we really need to go back to another island? It kind of puts the franchise in a bit of a corner to kind of repeat itself. So that's what I'm kind of nervous about. Now, however, while that does push us in a bit of a corner in terms of creativity of where we go in the future, for this standalone story, I really loved this idea that, to get rid of heart disease, we would need to find the 3 largest creatures, from land, dinosaur, to the Aryan pteranodons, like the Quetzalcoatlus, and the sea, the Mosasaurus. It's kind of a cool idea. This 3 arc almost felt like a video game. Like, here's your missions, here's your bosses, we got to get them, and maybe a few side quests along the way. Puzzle Right says, usually Jurassic films have like a satisfying kills, but for Rebirth, I generally felt like unsettled and really bad for the people. Yeah, I think that was one thing that kind of helped bring back the terror of it, right? Like, you did have a lot of great death scenes. You had the dinosaurs were scary. They didn't hide it really this time. They really went after you, and I did appreciate that very much from Gareth Edwards. Corey, as we talk about how the beginning of Jurassic World Rebirth really kind of deters the trajectory that Colin Trevorrow, who directed the Jurassic World and Jurassic World Dominion, and kind of where he saw the franchise going, Rebirth kind of resets it all. Mm-hmm. What was your initial reaction to that?
Specifically to, like, as far as how, well, I guess I liked the setting of it all. I actually, you come at it, Trey, from like, oh, I don't understand how people would not be thrilled to live in a world where dinosaurs roam. And the thing that I saw from it, it was almost like, this is what, the 6th? Is this the 6th? No, this is the 7th.
The 7th Jurassic film, yeah.
7th Jurassic film. So in some ways, I almost thought it was like, is it kind of like showing the people, like, we're tired of seeing dinosaurs in the movies. We're tired of seeing Jurassic Park. We're tired of seeing Jurassic World. Not the diehard fans like us, but like, is the general audience and general public tired of, like, oh, there's nothing new. There's nothing exciting. We've seen what has been seen, and there's no draw anymore. So I liked the premises of where we're at, and the idea of, like, we're constantly trying to one-up things to make things exciting, especially in the social media and content producing side of things, where we're trying so hard to do, like, push the limits on everything, and like, what's the most edgy thing next, that we can possibly do to keep interest in this world where, our interest and attention spans are in that, Snapchat or Vine level of 10-second attention spans, So it was interesting to me to see how they went about it. Now, when the Snickers bar flew in and caused the malfunction, I loved that personally. To me, it was like I thought chaos theory. I was like, damn, freaking Snickers bar, and I think it just shows like anything can happen. Heck, life finds a way in some ways too. Like things are going to go bad when you're playing around with things that we shouldn't be playing around with. So we've seen them in the past really try to do some things with dinosaur manipulations, take advantage of the dinosaurs. We saw them try to use it from a military standpoint, and now we're seeing we're trying to get the biggest scare factor of it all as well too. So I liked the premise. I liked that they correlated that, hey, we need to figure out for once again this pharmaceutical company needs to get these dinosaur blood and everything like that, and really try to get people to we have a good cause, but really that good cause, that pharmaceutical company is also the bad guy as well too. So it was kind of cool seeing like that side of things about like, yeah, that's actually how we kind of do things in the world, where yes, it's the concept of, yes, this is going to help people, but wait a second, there's a money factor here that people are trying to get, and they're trying to get rich off of something that they didn't create either as well. So overall, I thought the storyline was pretty relevant, especially to today's times, and pretty interesting to kind of watch in that sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. And to get you back on the idea that it seems like a lot of dinosaurs have been kind of killed off. Hopefully, we don't know the whereabouts of where Blue is at in beta. Colin Trevorrow kind of hinted that Rexy was kind of at the end of her life. She was aging. She's been beat up. She's been bruised. She did find some other Rexys. Hopefully, maybe she got out of the Swiss mountains like they were in Dominion and maybe made her way down to the equator somewhere warm. But who knows? It's left open, and I was kind of okay with that. There was some people saying that the skeleton in the museum was actually Rexy, where Jonathan Bailey's character worked, and I'm glad they didn't even address that if it was true, because I think that would have pissed off a lot of fans. But with this concept that Scarlett Johansson's Zora Bennett's character is kind of this missionary that's putting a team together for this pharmaceutical company, Parkergenics, that wants to find these dinosaurs and get DNA from them so that they can make this heart disease cure. I felt like for the amount of time that we had, and this was a movie I felt like I could have used another 20 minutes of. And honestly, I think it needed another 20 minutes. But for developing characters very quickly to get them on this mission, to get them on this adventure, I felt like Gareth Edwards and David Koepp did a very good job to make me care about the characters. They really added some quick stories that, like, clearly this character just came from tragedy. Her mom died from heart disease, so that kind of influences her decision, kind of her motivation of why this mission's important. And losing a team member on her last mission, and then when you get Mahershala Ali's Duncan Kincaid, who is one of the coolest characters on there, and how he's dealing with tragedy from a divorce with his wife, losing a child, and how that affects his decisions. It makes scenes understandable why they do the things they do, and why there's a bit of a guardian mindset that particular character has. And of course, my favorite character, Dr. Henry Loomis, because I love paleontologists, the fact that he has a history of working with Dr. Alan Grant, he was just kind of this, the trio especially had such great chemistry. And I loved how we were able to kind of get to this island, some great action, especially with the Spinosaurus hunting pack in the water, and seeing a little more scientifically accurate Spinosauruses that we know at the moment, rather than, it would have been cool to see the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus for sure. It's iconic, but it was cool to see these different versions. And of course, the Mosasaurus always makes a great impact, which I know a lot of people have been questioning. Was it the Mosasaurus that was in Jurassic World. Based on the color designs and the size of it, I don't think so. I know Parkergenics says they had a tracker on it that they took from Engine when they went Chapter 11. And, that's so that would kind of give you the idea, well, maybe it is the one from Jurassic World. It's very possible that they had more than one Mosasaurus. I mean, we've known, if you know about some of the Jurassic Park lore, especially with the first movie, there's hints that there was a separate facility on Isla Nublar that had many different marine reptiles in there, like the Mosasaurus, like a Plesiosaurus kind of thing. So there's hints at that. So it could be something like that. It could be easily explained and didn't need to be addressed. I know some people were confused by it though. I think, to me, one of the hardest parts about where the movie started to fall flat a little bit is this other family. Corey, I don't know if you felt this the same way. Like, I really loved the dad's character. I thought, it gives you that sense of parental, like you want to protect the family, it gives that sense of mission, right? And kind of a side story going on. Where I couldn't get past, and like, it was the Xavier kid. And maybe it's because I'm a father now of a baby girl, and I would hate if she was dating a dude like that.
That's hilarious. Oh my god.
But I'm not gonna lie, I throughout that entire movie was like, when are we gonna like eat this kid? Like, when is this Xavier kid gonna get swallowed? Because I need him to get eaten. I'm so tired of him.
No.
You didn't feel that way?
No, dude. And to be honest with you, in my group, in my showing, there was a lot of people that were kind of resonating with him, which I thought was interesting, and they liked his character because, don't get me wrong, he's a typical teenager. He's a young, male. He's, kind of, a lot of people in this generation in some ways, where, taking a back seat, not really, excelling in things, and doing, I guess the best way to put it is like, just kind of flying by the seat of the pants, not living life with a purpose, right? And sure, he has his mistakes. He does stupid things. He's a drug user and everything like that. But he cared about his daughter. He jumped. Like, if he was a POS, he wouldn't have jumped out into the ocean to go save her. So
I guess there was a bit of a he was like the person in the mix of it all that really didn't belong, but yet had a lot of growth in the sense that he was truly helping and truly kind of being a hero in a lot of ways. He carried that team quite a bit, that family went after the dad got hurt in some ways as well too. So, I think maybe you might be a little too harsh, especially since you have a daughter now. Of course, Dinosaur is not allowed to date anybody like that. No, she's not allowed to date.
But that said, I thought there was a lot of character growth in his story as well.
Well, and that was the thing for me is while I thought like when he jumped in to save his girlfriend, I was like, okay, cool. Like, and they had that really nice moment between him and the father. I was like, okay, this is a nice kind of redemption arc. This is like kind of making him better for me. And then he kind of continued. He like kind of went back and kind of was the more comedic kind of just annoying character, in my opinion. That I was like, God, I wish you kind of just like felt the vibe of the situation you're in. You're stuck on an island with dangerous animals, but to each their own. He was a character I could have done with less time with, but I really loved this sense of, clearly they're going on with the typical Jurassic villain, which people would be like, yeah, you're talking about the dinosaur, right? It's like D-Rex. D-Rex is the villain. No, it's always the farm, it's always the big company, right? Whoever is running things. And the fact that we had this pharmaceutical guy, Parker, I think the Martin, I think his name is Martin, if I recall. I liked the idea of having him go on this mission with them, and you really kind of see the ugly side of him. You know, it made his death all the more sweeter when it gets to that moment. And some great moments of when they're on the boat, you know, and you get these very Jaws like. It even had the music that Alexandre Desplat did, where you know they're on the edge, Sora's on the edge of the boat, and you kind of hear the bum ba da bum ba 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 da ba ba. You know, it just felt like a very great Jaws moment. There was a lot of Steven Spielberg references throughout this movie that just made it so much fun. And you could tell that Gareth Edwards just really had an eye for the franchise and for what is the tonal colors of Jurassic. And that's it. To me, it was fantastic. And especially when we get to that river raft scene, which is obviously a big moment for Jurassic Park fans of the Michael Crichton book. You know, it was something that Steven Spielberg and David Koepp wanted to have in the original Jurassic Park film, but the technology just wasn't quite there and couldn't quite fit it in. So they did some other things. Seeing it in this movie, I think easily, Corey, in my opinion, it belongs in maybe top 2 moments in Jurassic World Rebirth and maybe top 5 moments in the entire Jurassic franchise.
Top 5 moments?
Yeah.
Woo! I think that's fair. That was my favorite scene in the movie, for sure. We've been waiting for this river raft scene forever now. So it was really great to see it go down. It was exciting, thrilling, all at the same time. There's definitely some things that did take me out of it in that scene, like, what the heck is that river raft made out of for it to not be able to be punctured through the bite force of a T-Rex? That was impressive to me because I just want to let you know I want all my stuff to be made with that. Tent, you know, a raft as well. I want that raft because that was super impressive that it was able to withstand a dinosaur T-Rex specifically bite force. So that was super impressive. But man, that scene, that it really captured that. You know, you'll kind of hear me talk about this a lot. Actually, there was a lot of key elements with Jurassic World Rebirth that mimicked, or I guess mirrored is the best term, of Jurassic Park 1. This scene reminded me of, you know, the dinosaur coming down into the T-Rex coming down into the car scene late at night, you know, with just the kids there and everything like that. So it was fun to see the menace of the T-Rex again. This scene, honestly, it left me wanting more. I still wanted more of this river scene. I wanted it to get a little bit crazier as well, but
maybe have you know, Xavier getting swallowed. No, just kidding.
Dang, you really hate this Xavier kid, Trey.
I just mess it. No, I agree. For me, the part that took me a little bit out of the feeling was, I have trouble with any movie where like characters tend to act overly ignorant or dumb, like to where it doesn't feel realistic anymore. Like the daughter, not the youngest daughter, the older daughter, Xavier's girlfriend. I think it was Nina. I can't remember. When she's pulling the bag, you know, to get the raft, and they're like telling her like, don't do it. You know, they're like whispering. I get they're whispering. She might not hear them, but she's, you know, she sees the big T-Rex sleeping right next to her, and she thinks it's a great idea to open up this airbag, you know, the life raft now. To me, it was like
about
Teresa, thank you. That was the part where like, yeah, it drove me nuts a little bit, where I was kind of like, no one would have actually done that. No one would have. I mean, this is a girl who clearly has been sailing with her dad multiple times. She would know how to get a life raft and how it would work, and how loud it would be. And she thought it would like to open it up right there. Like, it was the one part that kind of took me out before the scene, but the wreck scene brought me back in because it's that good. It's that perfect.
I think it just shows to her youth as well, though. Like, yeah, she's done some of this stuff, but, kids still make mistakes. And more specifically, too, I think it was, like just trying to get it over with, trying to get there, whether she did it in the water or not. That dinosaur, the T-Rex is going to hear it at some point. So that didn't bother me too much.
Yeah, to me, it almost like... To me, there was like an easier way around it, though. She's pulling this big, heavy thing on her own. If she accidentally, it got stuck on one of the boards and it launched on its own. Or
honestly,
inflated
Xavier should have gone with her. I kind of judged Xavier there as well.
Well, see, that's kind of what I think, though, too, where it's kind of like he has those moments where I kind of like, yes, he has that moment of like getting some redemption, getting that moment like, okay, I kind of like you, let's see where you go with it, and then he would do something kind of annoying or stupid that I was just like, okay, your character arc isn't that much progression. You're kind of taking 2 steps back every time you take a step forward. I can see that. The back scene creeps me out when it disappeared behind the bushes, and when Teresa did that, me and my friends were like, you're dumb. yeah But it's such a great scene. But when you talk about nostalgia, we always think about with these dinosaur movies, especially the Jurassic franchise, right? There's something about the sauropods, and then, with the Brachiosaurus, the Apatosaurus, here we get the Titanosaurus. And when that scene happens, oh man, I teared up a little bit. I did tear up a little bit because to me, it just like, it's how I would react in that scene. Like, the Brachiosaurus is my favorite dinosaur of all time. Seeing that, I think I would have had the same reaction as Dr. Henry Loomis, Jonathan Bailey's character. And I felt like, to me, that's where his character definitely really sold me, is I could feel it. I could feel the genuine, like, excitement, the childlike wonder of touching that dinosaur and getting to fully experience them in a way maybe he didn't get to before. And I thought that was so powerful. Like, I could literally be in his shoes thinking like, that's exactly how I react. It kind of took my breath away. I thought it was so great. And then of course to get the John Williams Jurassic Park theme was awesome.
I like what Crouch the Purple Puppet says here. He says, to be fair, Xavier stayed with her dad to help him, which that is true. But let me also say this, Trey. I feel like the dad, in some points, he may have required too much assistance as well, in the sense that, like, if I was a dad, or like, I would say, like, no, you go help my daughter. I'll be here, and if I get eaten, I get eaten.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. I mean, he definitely got injured, but he definitely, like, he put himself in there. I mean, he did a lot of what you would expect a parent to do in that situation, which is kind of put themselves in the danger and not really care for their own safety. And in that type of, mindset, it put him in a place where he required more attention than probably would have been helpful for the rest of the group if he played it a little smarter. But I thought he was a very authentic character, and that's what I liked about it. But of course, when we get to, I loved that we got to see a little bit the different dinosaurs, even some of the amphibious creatures that we've never seen before. Wolf Creed says, when the T-Rex disappeared behind the raft, my brother was like, what is the T-Rex, Batman now? It's Bat-Rex. Yeah, no, that was kind of my theme. Like, it was a very cool shot, and I thought it was very exciting. It's just like one of those silly parts in Hollywood, right? Like when the dinosaur moves around in like any Jurassic Park movie, you always hear the T-Rex's tremors, in the ground, and seeing the water shake. And here, all of a sudden, the T-Rex was super quiet, getting a drink, and it's like, okay, like it's still a great scene though. I still wouldn't change it for a thing. But here we get to the facility, right? We got our teams separated because they know at night that Zora had a plan B for a helicopter to swing by because their ship is destroyed. And we get to see a little bit of this facility. And I thought it was great. Like the D-Rex, for the tiny bit that we got the D-Rex, I was a little upset at first when I think about how much screen time we got with the D-Rex. And then it kind of hit me. I was like, oh, it's Gareth Edwards. I didn't get a lot of Godzilla in Godzilla 2014 either. So it kind of made sense that he would kind of do this to us and, really just tease it all the way through. With that being said, I wish we would have taken another 10 minutes to explore the facility to really understand what was going on there. I think it would have allowed the possibility to create. One of the things I've heard about the D-Rex is that Gareth Edwards, obviously basing the design off the Rancor from Star Wars, the alien Xenomorph from the Alien series, the Elephant Man. He really wanted people to feel kind of tragic about it, sad, that this creature is kind of deformed and its creation is it's made its life very difficult. It doesn't walk easily. There's a tiny bit of wheezing that you can hear. And I almost wish they would have gone a little further about it, like more in your face. And I think that would have required more D-Rex screen time. But Corey, what did you think? A lot of people are conflicted about the Distortus Rex. What did you think about the Distortus Rex design?
Oh man, I think it was underused, to be honest with you, buddy. Personally, I think that they could have done so much more with it, especially since they hyped it up so much and they played around with it so greatly. I think I would have liked to, like, do you know what it was, how it was mutated, what genetic codes they
obviously
put into
there's
it?
a T-Rex in there somewhere,
Yeah.
but some people have theorized that maybe a sauropod, because that's why it has the really big long front legs. But no, it wasn't.
So I wish maybe we got that in the beginning. Like, I feel like, oh yeah, we're working on this, D-Rex is, having some things, we're struggling with. I think in the next one we should try doing this and that, and maybe add some of these genes. It would have been cool to see some of that Henry Wu level of sciencey stuff in the beginning of the movie before the Snickers bar terrorized us all.
Well,
but
sorry, go ahead.
Overall, I think the D-Rex was awesome. Very cool design. It definitely was, like, it was terrifying, but I wanted to know what was in it. Like, how, like, Jurassic Park did such a good job of, like, we gotta fit in the code to finish the code. Like, I wanted to know. Okay, what do we do to these things? Like I wanted to see where science has taken us. Like, oh yeah, we made some velociraptors that can fly, and we made a T-Rex, and guess what? We gave them maybe a little human DNA as well. Just to play around, like just absolutely horrifying type level of stuff. Just to show that, in reality, science has, look at what they do in science nowadays. They push the limit so far, and they stop to ask if we should. I wanted to see more of that, but overall, I was happy with the D-Rex, man. He was cool. It was awesome. I just wish they utilized him more and better.
Yeah, it felt like the Mutodons were better executed in terms of screen time. Like, there's some great shots, like iconic shots, like when you see the helicopter and then in the smoke, the Distortus Rex has it in its mouth. I'm thinking, like, Gareth, like, that's epic. My brain is also going, damn, this thing is huge, and crazy that it was able to capture that helicopter. But to me, I would have liked some of that backstory. I felt like with the Indominus Rex, we got so much of its backstory before we fully got to see it, and then even got to learn more about it throughout the movie. It really became an essential character, and really what the Distortus Rex was kind of just this. It wasn't the Jaws shark. It was the tiger shark. Oh, what? And I think that's the issue I had with it. Like, I wanted it to be the Jaws shark. I wanted it not to be so much the big bad, but truly a menace stalking them. And I felt like there was many times they could have used it to, you don't need to fully see it. You could have teased us that it's there. It's lurking about. It maybe kills the T-Rex, it maybe, I know fans would have probably been pissed off with that because of the whole Jurassic Park 3 situation, but like, just throughout the night, or when they saw the big thing moving through the jungle, like hinting maybe what more this thing is. And I think that would have certainly helped the film. Yes, less is more, but this was an instance where like I really wanted more, to the point where it kind of bugged me a little bit. But still, nonetheless, I think a very cool design. And here's one thing where I talk about like why this movie is so controversial. I read a ton of comments, and even people who are commenting on some of my Instagram and my Twitter posts about their feelings towards Jurassic World Rebirth. And one person like really like he dug it in. He was kind of specific and like blunt about his anger about it. And he was like, less mutants, more dinosaurs. That's literally what he said. It was like, less mutants, more dinosaurs. And at first I was kind of like, okay, I can understand why the D-Rex would kind of, and the Mutodons would give us that reaction. But then it kind of popped up in my brain. They're all of the engine monsters are mutants. None of them are real dinosaurs. If you recall, because like Corey said, Mr. DNA, and they added the frog DNA, none of them are actual full 100% dinosaur blood. Even Blue is mixed with a different creature, and some of her 4 raptor pack some were mixed with iguanas, some were mixed with monitors. It was a whole bunch of different things that they were manipulating the genetic code of these dinosaurs, that none of them were 100% real, except for Biosyn's dinosaurs, apparently. Now, with that being said, even Alan Grant's character in Jurassic Park 3 said, if you want to know what dinosaurs are, they're in the rocks. That is the science there. Those are the real dinosaurs. What Engine did, and John Hammond, was create a bunch of theme park monsters, nothing more, nothing less. You got to remember that, because when you hold on to that, yes, Jurassic Park is when dinosaurs rule the earth, but what it should really say is when these mutant dinosaurs rule the earth. And I've always said, in fact, it's kind of funny, Wolf Creed, because I think you're the big Clayton fan. I seem to recall when Clayton, he did a video about, I think it was Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, or maybe it was Dominion, I can't recall. But he's like, I don't know where they go from here. And I actually commented on one of his videos and said, dude, I know the story. We do a prequel. We go back and we show Henry Wu finding the first amber and him figuring out how to create the DNA code to bring these things back. Because here's my thought process on it. There was no way Henry Wu was going to do it right the first time. No one would have gotten it right the first time. It would have been trial and error to see what happens. Just like we're doing now with Dr. Jack Horner, who's doing the whole Chickensaurus. He's not getting the de-evolutionized dinosaur right away. What he's doing is adding proteins or stopping proteins at certain points of its embryo in the egg sac and seeing, okay, if I do this, what happens? Oh, it grew a tail. Cool. Okay, if I do this, what happens? Ooh, I get teeth now in the beak. Cool. What happens when I do it? Oh, now I got more like legit claws, extended tail. Great, like awesome. It's trial and error with a lot of how science does these things, and I refuse to believe that they just would have gotten Rexy from the get-go. I would imagine that they would have created these abomination monsters like the D-Rex. This film just kind of took it in a different place where they kind of started it from Jurassic World, and the trailers kind of led me to believe that maybe they were talking about something that happened before the original Jurassic Park. That being said, with the D-Rex, to finish that off, less mutants, more dinosaurs, to the one person who commented on my thing. And I hope you're watching. I'm not attacking you, bro. I appreciate that you took the time to comment on my thing. I'm just wanting to explain that, sadly, they're mutants. They're all mutants, except for the Biosyn ones at this point. So it's always been mutant dinosaurs. It's a technicality kind of thing. Crash to the Purple Puppet. And Joshua says, I'm glad to hear the Raptors got a little screen. They've been the front runner for the dinosaurs in the Jurassic franchise. So I was glad they took a bad seat in this film. No hate. Yeah, there's a lot of people that hated that too. A lot of people who were like, where the hell's my Velociraptors? And I thought it was a good tease. Once again, it hurt that these were the Velociraptors that had the feathers on them, like the Jurassic Park 3 ones, because that's still my favorite design. But I think it was a great way to introduce the Mutodon, because it was like, here's this other badass thing that's just tearing apart other dinosaurs. So it was a cool aspect to it.
I agree, and I think in the prequel they can dive more into the workers that were being killed, like in the Velociraptor transfer, or some of the other stuff that was going on pre Jurassic Park opening before they even brought Dr. Alan Grant there. So I really like that idea, Trey.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably too late to do that idea now because this film kind of did it enough where it would just feel like a repeat, maybe in a way. I don't know. Maybe that's still an idea they can play with, maybe in an animated show like they did with Camp Cretaceous with the Scorpius Rex. But I thought it was just cool the fact that we had all these different missions to get the Mosasaurus, the Titanosaurus DNA, the Quetzalcoatlus, and the fact that they had it in this, sky god's temple, getting the DNA from an egg. That was such a crazy scene. That was just fantastic. And then, of course, you get a scene very reminiscent from the first Jurassic Park and even the Lost World Jurassic Park film, where the Mutodon is hunting them in the grocery store. And it was just an epic scene. And the ending was kind of rough for me. The ending kind of happened fast. And honestly, I was kind of thrown off a little bit about it. It felt a little bit like plot armor kind of immediately installed because, in my opinion, throughout the whole movie, they did a great job not to kind of have plot armor unless if it was the family or trio characters. But when we had Duncan Kincaid basically give up his life, he's sacrificing himself to get the Distortus Rex away from the kids. Makes sense for his character. In his mind, he's redeeming himself from not being able to save his child. To me, it was a mistake to show the Distortus Rex basically have him in his grasp, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. Like he got away somehow, and not show it, not hint at it. To me, it was just like, oh, he's still alive. It was like just too much of a happy ending to where I was kind of like, oh, really? Like, how though? Like, how did he get away? I get it. The Distortus Rex is slow. He hurts when he moves, but to me, it made the Distortus Rex less of a scary dinosaur. Like it gave away the threat factor because he can get you, but if you're really, really fast, if you can juke him out, you can get away from that dinosaur. And to me, that kind of ruins the menacing aspect of him. It's cool that they kept him alive and that he's somewhere or she's somewhere out there. But at the same time, I kind of go like, what's the big deal though? The Distortus Rex wasn't that much of a menace. Yes, it got the helicopter. Yes, it got the big bad pharmaceutical guy, but it literally had a dude right in front of him.
Did he pick him up with a strong hand, Trey?
Give us strong hands. But I heard a rumor because I know Joshua kind of talked about it. There was a rumor that Gareth Edwards kind of thought midway in the editing process in the post-production side where he was like, wait, am I supposed to have a T-Rex battle at the end? Should the T-Rex just come out of nowhere and like beat this Distortus Rex up? Because that's like what happens in all the movies, right? I mean, always, just about. And the editor was like, no, dude, like that's we've already done that. People are expecting that. Don't do that. He's like, I'm so glad you didn't do it. Well, then I heard a rumor that like, okay, maybe Duncan leads the Distortus Rex to the water where the Spinosaurus pack basically jumps him and gets him and pulls him into the water, and because he can't move well, they destroy him. They win, right? I kind of like that idea. I think it would have been a great use of the Spinosauruses, especially because the Spinosauruses are obviously a fan favorite. Yes, I know it's not JP3 design, but still Spinosauruses nonetheless. But at the same time, I'm kind of curious. To me, if you leave the Distortus Rex alive, which is very different, I feel like when you have a big bad dinosaur in all these movies, like with the Indominus Rex, they obviously killed him off. The Indoraptor, they killed that off. The Giganotosaurus, they killed that off. Yeah, they didn't really kill off the Spinosaurus. The Spinosaurus got away, but like it's kind of a different thing when you don't get like the big bad. He's out there, roaming about, hurting limping his way through the jungle to fight another day. Wolf Creed says, I love how the cues were in the Aztec-like temple. Yeah, the feather serpent and god. Yep. Yeah, the Quetzalcoatlus. Yeah, that's I thought that was super cool too. And I loved the new design of the Quetzalcoatlus. I thought it was very, very cool. Corey, what was your thoughts about the ending? To me, it happened too quick.
Man, I thought it was good, dude. Like, it did break down really quick. But I tell you what, man, that convenience store scene brought me straight back to Jurassic Park 1 with the kitchen scene with the kids, bro. There was something about it that, it's like it was familiar in a lot of ways, this movie, with scenes that we've seen before.
Yeah.
But there was also that uneasiness, like they're like, oh no, how's this gonna play out again? Like, oh my god, you know what? It was very like an edge of the seat type of movie where we didn't know how things were gonna play out. I liked that there was a bit of chaos going all around with it. The hope of getting off the island through the helicopter and then being quickly destroyed. And I actually really liked how it kind of intertwined a lot of different people's perspectives that made it kind of fun and chaotic because it was all over the place. Typically in these Jurassic Park, Jurassic World scenes, we typically see only, our two characters or like, two or three favorite characters that are dealing with an incident at a time. Where here now we had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 10 people trying to like work together and kind of survive the chaos of everything that was going on, and there was different key parts that was moving. So for me, it added a lot of chaos to the ending, and it was just a constant like panic mode. So like it was edge of the seat and just like kind of just like crazy, which even though it wasn't quite how we may have expected the ending to be, and there was like, okay, how did Duncan survive that there? But I almost want to say in this instance, I kind of agree with our boy Julian in the sense that like it allowed my brain to kind of wonder what happened instead without it showing, almost like not seeing it. It left some more horror and like, oh my god, how did he survive type thing as
creating your own survival scenario.
But just kind of that mysteriousness and the uneasiness that the original Jurassic Parks were so good at creating as well. So was it perfect? No. But I did enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it is a very touching story that they kind of implanted this idea this entire time that Dr. Henry Loomis, kind of says like, while it's a nice redemption arc in terms of Zora Bennett's character and how Henry Loomis kind of warms her up a bit throughout the story where, she's in it for the money. And she's even playing the dude to get him to raise the price a little bit. And to have her, obviously with the heart disease being such a close subject to her heart about her mom's character, the fact that, he gives her this option to say like, hey, if we don't give it back to Parker Genix, who's going to take it, they're going to, make it so expensive that no one can afford it, and it's going to be patented. It's going to be the worst thing for us. So we're not really helping people. We're actually making it worse. But if we give it to everyone to create something like that makes it better, right? So it was very nice to have her kind of have that last full moment of kind of this hero redemption, which was great. But it does beg the question, especially with the little daughter, was it Isabella, if I recall?
Yes.
The fact that she has Dolores, our little Aquicolots, there's this funny idea where it's like, okay, we just learned that dinosaurs aren't doing so well in other parts of the country. And if I recall, the oldest daughter is going to the University of New York. So I'm gonna guess that they kind of live in in that area somewhere up in the northeast coast. She's technically taking that dinosaur to its doom. We won't talk about that though because it's too cute to let it happen. But to me, it begs the question: where do we go from here? You know, what happens with the Jurassic World Rebirth sequel if it does well enough? And well, before I go on to my theory, Corey, where would you want it to go? If you were to have to pitch or come up with an idea in 10 seconds,
in 10 seconds, where do I have to go with it?
Yeah, or where would you want it to go? You know, it doesn't have to be where do you like what seems logical, just like what do you want to see next from this franchise?
That's tough, Trey. That's an interesting question. I think in some ways, okay, here's what I would like to see. You know, maybe in some ways they create, you know, they get this heart, you know, these DNA samples back, the heart medicine, you know, goes and maybe it starts infecting humans in some ways, you know, like some type of infection or something like that, biochemical warfare, you know, like type level of like it has an alternative effect to it in the sense that it has the opposite effect. And I think that's one thing that Jurassic Park always does well is it's pushing science way too far than where it should go, and that you know, science is uncontrolled and people are
it's the
scientists
Oppenheimer
are just
story, right?
Yeah, exactly. Scientists are just doing whatever the hell they want, and they're creating these problems in our world. And you know, what if okay, now it's a fight to you know, some type of infection amongst humans and such like that, maybe, you know, like I don't know, like I think we're at the point now with this Jurassic Park world and series that I think we could have maybe one more sequel to this, but I think we can start doing with these movies kind of alternative stories, because I think the one good thing about everything that took place is the box office, how much we made. So that a number is going to continue to make them to want to make movies. I think it's okay to do one more sequel to this one, and then move on to a whole nother idea. I think we could have a lot of different miniseries. I don't think we need to do like trilogies anymore with this.
So
Jurassic
you like the
World.
idea of maybe doing a standalones here?
Yes,
and there.
so I'm honestly okay with this being a standalone as well, and they move on to a different theory. But if I had to say something, I think it'd be kind of cool to see if the medicine backfired and it created a different monster or beast.
I'm actually going to start a poll there, Corey, because I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want another?
And don't get me wrong,
World?
if they give me a Jurassic World Rebirth sequel, I'm happy. I'm there. I just don't know if it needs to, you know, follow this storyline. You know, like, did we play it out? You know, maybe, you know, they bring back the medicine and now there's a new thing that they want to cure, or, you know, something like that. Like, the thing about science is they constantly want more and they never say that's enough. So I think there's tons of things that you could still do. I think, you know, in some ways, you know, we've kind of seen the story of people who care about dinosaurs and are trying to save the dinosaurs, but maybe we kind of get back to that as well. the dinosaurs are dying off, and there's a push to help some of them. I'm not sure, like to help the creatures, and there's the fight back and forth on whether or not we should let these things die off again, or to do something else. I
kind of like what Ian Malcolm talked about in Fallen Kingdom with the island. He was like, let it go. It's kind of God's natural order to rebalance things again.
And I think that's one of the cool things about the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World series, is that there always is this fine balance of, science versus God. And, in a lot of ways, when we allow science to win, to push forward uncontrolled, look what we get. We get these horrible scenarios and accidents happening. So, I don't know, Trey. It's a great question. I think I'd probably have to put some more thought into it, but I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. While Clever Girl 186 or Clever Girl 86 said, "LOL, let's just do the military dinosaurs." This is something that I've been
called primitive war. I'm just kidding.
But I've been advocating for military dinosaurs forever now, especially when we had Blue and it looked like we may be going down that route. And primitive war is not what we're talking about, Trey. Primitive war is the Vietnam side of things and the war, and there are
still being hunted by dinosaurs.
Yes, I want to see. I put a laser on this and more dinosaurs are attacking you and everything like that. Like the absolute, abuse of having dinosaur power and such like that. So, Wolf Creek said we've done dinosaurs in the jungle, in the city, in the park, and in the world. Where do we go from here? Someone in the crowd? Space!
Space, the final frontier.
Trey, I would love to hear, your thoughts here.
So it's actually very, very funny, Super Bro, that you brought up a disease coming from that DNA, from the pharmaceutical, because the Lost World Jurassic Park book from Michael Crichton, it's really nothing like the movie that we got. It's very, very different. The theme Michael Crichton actually brought up in that book is that it was discovered by Malcolm and Sarah Harding while they were looking through one of the engine laboratories on Isla Sorna, that they found out that engine was feeding basically to meat eater dinosaurs sheep that were infected with a certain type of disease called prions, which manifests, it's basically like folded protein that gives you cellular death disease. Like it kills your cells quicker, so it would end their lifespan sooner, but it ended up becoming infectious to multiple dinosaurs. So they could, if they wanted to, maybe either Dolores could have it, or the DNA from these other dinosaurs, or maybe it was something that accidentally got cooked up at this new engine site where they created the Distortus Rex, and it could cause humans to now be the lesser power of the Earth, the less dominant species. You could almost look at it as a similar situation as the Planet of the Apes movies, especially the most recent ones that came out, where the disease of the apes kind of made mankind wipe out a little bit, and the apes were in charge. It would be kind of a similar thing. Now, I kind of get worried about that kind of specific, okay, we get another disease where humanity is kind of wiped out. It is basically Planet of the Apes, what we call it, Planet of the Dinosaurs. Maybe that's what it is, Jurassic Planet.
Nope, Jurassic World Extinction Code.
That's funny.
Because the DNA code and all the mutation is creating all of life is at threat. All of life is in danger with this extinction code that they rewrit into this biotech DNA scripts to help with these diseases that we fight today.
Yeah, so it could be kind of interesting. Now, me personally, while I love this idea, part of me wonders if maybe the D-Rex could become the answer a bit for that, because I would hate for us to leave this island to know that there's this I mean, how many times are we going to do, Engine had a secret island that no one ever knew about? I think it's gone a little far in terms of we can't keep just having like, here's this secret facility on this island that no one like. How did no one look after the amount of times Engine has been in Chapter 11 in bankruptcy? How did the government not look into their research multiple times to be like, okay, what's all this money going over here? Like, what's that about? And people not knowing about this shit. It kind of drives me. If this other corporation, this pharmaceutical company, is aware of this other facility that Engine had, then the government must, and maybe they could play with that too. Maybe the government's in on it. I don't know, and that's where you get the militarized dinosaurs. But maybe the Distortus Rex or other mutant dinosaurs on that island have the cure within them. So they have to go back and extract those particular dinosaurs' DNAs, and yet it could be just an island of mutant monsters. So I think I would like the idea of them doing a sequel to Jurassic World Rebirth. I don't exactly want another standalone because to me, there's a lot of themes there's a lot of missing plot points and details in Jurassic Rebirth. As much as I enjoyed it, it really irritated me that we didn't learn more about this facility, that we didn't learn more about the Distortus Rex, that we didn't learn more about the Mutodons and what other dinosaurs, mutant dinosaurs more importantly, were on that island. To me, the fact that we only saw really 2 mutant dinosaurs was kind of, at that point, like, go wild. That was kind of my thing. I felt like we didn't dive deep enough. Like, we didn't go harder. If you're gonna do these mutant, like, crazy monstrous dinosaurs, these abominations that they're playing with to see, like, we should have seen the Stegoceratops, we should have seen the Spinoraptor, all these different creatures that we've seen in the Jurassic Evolution games. That, to me, I wanted more. Like, the fact that we just got the 2, it was kind of like, so much for this facility. Did they really just create the 3? Like, the Distortus, Indominus, and Mutodons? I mean, technically, they created more because if you count the Scorpius Rex, but the Scorpius Rex was the very first abomination that Henry Wu made that's considered canon at the moment. So I would like to see them return. I think it's a good idea. I think, if anything, apocalyptic future with dinosaurs, I would like to see that personally, Wolf Creed. Like, I think that is an interesting topic to get into. And if I were them, I would make it a part 1 and a part 2. So like Jurassic World Extinction part 1 and part 2 to really cap off this. I know Corey was like, do we really need another trilogy? I like the idea when there's a focus.
You're selling me on this trilogy here.
Yeah, let's go. To me, I just want, when you have a clear vision of a story arc that you want to do, like a trilogy, to me, like, that's where good storytelling is. You can set things up and you can pay it off. Right now I have setup, but if this is a standalone, then I will never get that payoff, and therefore this will ruin this movie for me, because I have more questions than I have enjoyment at the moment. And that's my particular issue with this movie.
Yeah, Trey.
I'm at that place where, like, I want to know where we're going here, because you kind of, by making the dinosaurs migrate to the equator, we're now stuck back in the old story issues of repetitiveness, with us constantly having to go to a tropical oasis island where these creatures are roaming, rather than how cool was it the fact that you could be camping in California and all of a sudden at Big Rock an Allosaurus comes up and bites you. To me, that was the coolest thing, that humans were actually having to figure out how to coexist with dinosaurs. But to have them migrate to the equator and have all the governments ban basically anywhere near the equator for people to go near it, we don't have people coexisting with dinosaurs anymore, which was kind of the whole point of the Jurassic World trilogy, was building up to that point to have dinosaurs a part of our lives. And now they're just over there. They're like for us Americans, they're like the Komodo dragon on one of the Indonesian islands that I'll probably never see. I'll get to watch documentaries on it, but I don't want that. I want dinosaurs in the Jurassic World franchise to be more involved to see. That's partly why I love the Chaos Theory show that they're doing on Netflix, because they're really fleshing out what Dominion and Fallen Kingdom were only kind of teasing that. So I think the show has been great, and maybe they'll do that here with Jurassic World Rebirth. Maybe Chaos Theory continues and fills in those gaps a bit. But Corey, you say you're now sold on Jurassic World Extinction.
Dude, so we got Jurassic World Rebirth, Jurassic World Extinction, and now Jurassic World Apocalypse or Apocalyptic Jurassic World. You know, like, dude, you sold me on that, because okay, so they come back now, and now you know, they're trying to do that, you know, biotech information. Could you imagine, like, you know, we're starting to see humans with like you know, developing some like transgenic dinosaur-y traits where they have like maybe like the dino-y eyes, or like, you know, scaled skins, and like, you know,
you want the humanoid dinosaurs?
Yeah, dude, hyper senses and such like that in some ways too. And then you go into like this apocalyptic dinosaur world because of what they've done and everything like that, dude. That sounds freaking wild, man.
It's kind of an interesting thing. Like, to me, like, I've seen the concept art, because that's what Jurassic Park 4 was supposed to be. They wanted to do humanoid dinosaurs.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. See, I'm down.
They actually did this whole, I can't remember what they called the Universal Horror Nights when they did the whole Jurassic, it was like Jurassic Park Evil, something like that, or Evolution, that's what they call it, Jurassic Park Evolution. Red Hood Outlaw coming in with the $10 super chat saying, bro, I'm in, hashtag Jurassic World Extinction. It is a good title. I didn't create that title. It's like you said, it's been teased and kind of a concept title for the longest time.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a concept title since since the first initial discussions about Jurassic Park.
I think I said what, Jurassic World, like Extinction Code or something like that.
Maybe, I don't know. But go ahead, Corey. Let's play Red Hooded Outlaw a little something to say thank you for that $10 super chat, sir.
Let's give you this one, good sir.
We just dug up a new skeleton.
I could compensate you by fully funding your dig.
And this is a very unusual time.
For a further 3 years.
Where's the plane?
Where's the thing? We're just being bought out by all of you. No, I do. So go ahead.
They sold me. You sold me. They sold me.
To me, I won't lie about this. Like, I'm a little scared about the humanoid dinosaurs thing. I am. It's one of those things. Well, okay, great. Here's exactly it. I wonder about it. I can't get it out of my mind. There's so much of me that says, like, you know, can we do it? Can we do it? Can they make it a good movie? But I didn't stop to think if they should, kind of situation, where I feel that if they did do the humanoid dinosaurs, it's a bit of a Pandora's box situation where, like, you can't close it. You can't ever let people get that out of their mind once you do it. And it'll either be an insanely successful idea, or it'll be the thing that kills the franchise. So it's part of me, because I'm such a Jurassic Park, Jurassic World lover, I'm not willing to like risk killing this franchise. I love it, and I would rather them play safe, which is what this film felt like. It was a very safe dinosaur Jurassic Park film. It was very much like I said earlier, it felt like what Jurassic Park 3 should have been 20 years ago, but instead we got, you know, it's a film too late, you know. But nonetheless, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think it's a great summer popcorn flick. Like, you just kind of maybe turn off your brain a little bit. I don't think it's that bad. Like, to me, that's like Meg 2, especially, like, where you just turn off your brain and enjoy the ride that you're on. Here you can do a little bit of thinking. But I think it's still a great addition to the franchise. Definitely better than Dominion, in my opinion. But I have a lot of questions. A lot of my feelings towards it will depend on where they go from here. That's the part that scares me. If we don't go anywhere from here, it's going to drop my score of how I feel about this film immensely. But I don't know. What's up, Alex H? I like Jurassic Park 3 more than Rebirth. I could see where you say that. Jurassic Park 3 has a bit of nostalgia. I mean, that was my... I don't know if mom and dad let me see Lost World Jurassic Park in theaters because I would have been 3. Probably not. They probably didn't let me see it in theaters. But I do remember seeing Jurassic Park 3 in theaters and that being one of my favorite experiences. Even though it's nowhere as good as the first film. But I get what you're saying, Alex. Yeah. Corbra. Let's get to, well, first let's end this poll. We never ended our poll to see where people wanted to go from here.
What up, Captain Rex?
Is Rex here? Hey, what's up, buddy? Can't wait to see you this weekend.
He says, "Hey, Big Daddy."
Hey, Big Daddy. Okay, let's end our poll. Let's find out what you guys said. Where do you guys want to go from Jurassic World Rebirth? Okay, out of 24 votes, this makes me very happy. I was scared about this because I've heard a lot of my coworkers who work in the movie industry. A lot of them are saying, "Jesus Christ, do we need another Jurassic Park film?" And I'm glad 0% of my audience says, "No, let it die. I mean extinct." And then 33% said yes, but do another standalone film. And then 66% said sequel to Rebirth.
Woo!
So that's cool. That makes me happy. Batman's thoughts. One of my good friends says, "What's up? Just want to stop by and say how pissed I am that theropods didn't have feathers. Not all theropods had them. You crazy goose." Captain Rex, thanks for letting me know because my wife didn't. I get it, dude. I only know because Sarah's constantly harassing me, like, "Don't do YouTube this weekend."
Batman, but here's where you're wrong, Batman. These aren't scientifically accurate dinosaurs.
No, they're not.
They're man-made. Boom. We killed that argument real quick.
Exactly. I mean, some of them. I mean, this particular island, because it's engine, they're not going to be scientifically accurate dinosaurs. I mean, if the ones at the Bison lab are still alive, maybe. But even those were kind of... The Giganotosaurus was a bit scientifically inaccurate even then. So...
This is Batman, though. Batman, we got Batman here, guys.
You shouldn't use my name.
Dodgson! Dodgson! We've got Dodgson here! Nobody cares.
I care.
I
No,
care
I
too.
don't. I'm just kidding. It's good to see you, brother, as always. Corey, if you had to score Jurassic World Rebirth, what would you give it, sir?
Bro, I enjoyed this movie very much. I had a lot of fun. I can honestly tell you that this is my 7th favorite Jurassic World series. So it's at the bottom end of the movies, but that doesn't mean it's just because I enjoyed all the other ones so much, man. I know people hate on JP3. You're wanted here, Bad Dan. You are wanted here. But you are wrong in this case. I enjoyed JP3. I enjoyed Fallen Order. So I'm going to be kind of crazy here, Trey.
Okay.
And I gave 9.5 for the one before. Wasn't as good as that, but I think what this movie did really well for me is it reminded me of Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, the entire series, but specifically Jurassic Park. There's a lot of key elements that reminded me so much, and shots that reminded me so much, and put me back in that vibe and that nostalgia feelings of what I remember seeing Jurassic Park 1 for the first time. So it did a really good connecting the dots between the two movies there. I think of The scene where the dad is sitting up against the tree and both daughters are sleeping on him. That took me back to that, where they're the riverboat scene with. I'm sorry, what was that?
At the scene where the Brachiosaurus is and they're sitting up in the tree. And, yeah.
Yes, that yes, that was amazing as well.
I'm a little upset they didn't do some dino jokes.
It was great. That was beautiful as well. I loved the riverboat scene and some of those scenes of trying to get the escape. I loved Scarlett Johansson in that military vibes. Duncan was phenomenal, but I think so. I loved how they had that military feeling and mission motivated movie. But man, Henry Loomis was a game changer character as well. His love for the dinosaurs made me remember, like, oh my God, like Dr. Alan Grant, like the original love and care for these dinosaurs, which, we may have been missing the last little bit, that these dinosaurs are still magnificent creatures to watch and everything like that. Also, huge shout. I thought it was cool seeing Martin and what he did as far as that kind of that sneaky, greasy pharmaceutical company rep. Shout out to Bobby Atwater, who was played by Ed Skrein, and we've seen him in a lot lately. Rebel Moon. So it was fun seeing him be in a Jurassic Park world series now. I think that the music as well. I know you were going to talk about it a little bit, Trey, but I love that they played. Again, they brought that nostalgia factor back for me. So overall, I enjoyed this movie. I thought there's definitely complaints and there's things that they could have done more, but it hit a lot of that nostalgia vibes that I remember from watching, the original Jurassic Park, where Mom would, skip the scary scenes and stuff like that. She didn't close my eyes or anything this go around, but it was just a good fun time. It gave me the reminder of everything, and honestly, Trey, you may consider this a rookie score, but I am giving it a flat 9.0. I thought it was a 9.0 movie. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of good fun. Is there rewatch capability? Absolutely. That river raft scene was absolutely amazing. Was there things that took me out of it? Sure. But I still loved this movie. Maybe it's because I just love this series. And I'm hopeful that we get more, either sequels or more Jurassic Park content. I'm super excited for Primitive War coming out. And I think that we need to keep supporting Jurassic World Rebirth, though. I want to see it do really well. I want to see a really good week 2. So make sure you guys take pictures and you tag at Super Bro Corey on X and give me the shout out that you went and saw it again. Because we're going to be leading the charge to a strong week 2. And I just had a lot of fun with this movie. And Trey, I'm excited to hear your score. Although I have a vibe that once again I might be higher than yours.
Which is crazy because we're talking about like me being like the Jurassic World Park crazy fan here. So Corey actually brought up something I forgot to talk about, which was the music. I love Alexandre Desplat. He is an incredible French composer who has done many great films like Godzilla 2014. He even did some of the last Harry Potter films, and he's just an incredible composer. That being said, I as someone who like wants to get into this type of field, and you guys are probably laughing like, dude, like who really pays attention to music that much? I do, and it bugged me very much to hear the Jurassic Park theme for no reason. And what I'm talking about is like there's a scene in the like earlier, like within the first like 15 minutes where they play the Jurassic Park theme, and it's such a beautiful and like epic theme that it doesn't like you when you use it, you need to make sure the moment is worth the moment. Like, the scene is worth the moment. And the fact that the theme was teased so much, and they kind of full on did it a couple of times, I think even on the boat scene before they get to the Spinosauruses and the Mosasaurus. I was kind of like, this feels out of place. To me, this feels like it was just like, well, we needed, because this was a fast production film, we didn't really have a lot of time here. Let's just throw the iconic Jurassic Park thing because, hey, it's Jurassic Park. To me, where it was so impactful to use it, it was the right musical choice, was the Titanosaurus scene in the grassland. When you see and you get that nostalgic moment, and that theme, they belted. That was the moment that they shouldn't even bothered with the other times they used the Jurassic Park theme. It should have just been at the very end there. Sorry, not the very end, the middle with the Titanosaurus. That was so powerful that the fact that they teased it earlier almost took away from that moment. So that's like my weird music composer Trey criticism, a little bit. I felt like Michael Giacchino with the Jurassic World films did a better job with. It wasn't Alexandre's best. I'll put it that way. So with that being said, I still enjoy the movie a lot. I can't wait to watch it again this weekend. Because now that I'm prepared and I know what to expect, maybe I'll look at it a little differently. And maybe I'll catch some details that I missed. However, I still feel that it was such a fast-tracked movie that Gareth Edwards didn't really have the time to do what I know he's capable of when he has a story. I mean, there's even a couple of interviews where he talks about I'm not going to give notes to David Koepp. David Koepp is the GOAT. And then he was like, there was a couple of times that I would go up to him and be like, hey, is this okay if I do that? And luckily David Koepp was very supportive and yeah, do your theme, man. I just felt like it was such they were even talking about the toys where Gareth Edwards, his second day on the job, he just got hired. He's reading the script. He's trying to get things put together for production. He's walking into Universal Studios offices and they're like, hey, do you have the dinosaur designs? This is literally an interview with Gareth Edwards. And he was like, I just got the script. I don't even have the cats yet. What? And he's just like, yeah, well, we kind of need it to build the toys, which is why a lot of the toys for Jurassic World Rebirth don't look like the dinosaurs in the movie because they were tweaked over time. But Gareth Edwards called up some of the best visual artists around and concept artists. Hey, I need this in a day or a couple of days. Can you guys do it? And they were able to crank it out, right? So I just feel like because of obviously the pandemic, the writer's strike, Universal really needed a film that was going to crank in some cash for them. And they're like, well, let's just go to our cash cow Jurassic World. It felt like that in some cases. It felt like some things weren't as fleshed out as much as I were hoping they would. And it was just a bit of a money grab movie with the popular title. They fooled me. I showed up to the theater. But that's okay. Nonetheless, there's some moments I love. I think they did a great job with the time frame they had to create characters that were believable. Duncan, Scarlett Jo, Zora Bennett's character was just heartwarming, and I loved their chemistry, especially together. I think Corey's absolutely right. I didn't even know who Jonathan Bailey was. My wife did, apparently, because of a show called Bridgerton, I think. She was very aware of him and very happy to see him in this movie. And I honestly, I gotta say, I kind of fan crushed on him too. I was kind of like, dude, this guy nailed it. His performance as Dr. Henry Loomis really that's me. That's my character right there. I loved it as much as I love to this day still Alan Grant is still one of my favorite movie characters of all time. And he brought that nostalgia aspect to me and that childlike wonder. So he did a phenomenal job, like Super Bro Corey was saying earlier. There's just a lot of questions I have. I wonder where we're going from here. I question the idea of detouring from Jurassic World Dominion and not letting dinosaurs truly roam the world and really just roaming the equator. So it's not a dinosaur world. It's not Jurassic World. It's Jurassic Equator. I want to see where they go with that, because we're backed into that corner. We're back into that repetitiveness again. And this felt like while they took some chances, I wanted them to go deeper. All that being said, the river raft scene, phenomenal. It was so cool to see that finally from the books. It definitely felt a lot like the Lost World Jurassic Park Michael Crichton book. There was a lot of things that they were pulled for influences. I definitely could tell David Koepp did his research. So tonally, it was a very Michael Crichton movie. It wasn't hardcore, Universal just trying to make a big budget movie. So I appreciate that. All that being said, I have more questions than I do have full on enjoyment. And there's some plot point issues where I'm kind of like, until I see where they go with it, I'm not 100% sold on this movie. But there's a little bit of biasness with the dinosaur love and my Jurassic World being like one of my all-time favorite franchises. So I felt like my fair score that could easily change over time is going to be, I'm going to say 8.2 out of 10. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a solid score.
8.2. You heard it from him, folks. 8.2 from Trey. 9 flat here. Who's the biggest dinosaur fan now, Trey? I wonder.
You kill me with this every time, Super Bro. I don't know how you keep beating me with this. Like I think even Godzilla X Kong, you were like, yeah, it's a 9.4, and I was like, it's an 8.9. It was solid.
Oh my gosh, I'm teasing. All right,
what's the chat say though about it?
Dude, we're getting a lot of good scores in the chat, dude. We got Kaiji Crazy Craig rolling with an 8.8, a 9.2 out of 10 from Dark Jurassic, 7.9 from Darth Star Killer Unleash. Crash the Purple Puppet, he said 11 out of 10. Clever Girl 86 said 8.9. Wolf Creed, I will come back to this question. 8.6 from King Donkey Kong. I don't want to get have a great stream. All right, bye, Pat Dan. 8.5 from Good Soldiers Follow Order 66. 8.2 from Trevor H. 8.9 from Red Robin. 8.7 from Atomic Kaiju 1954. Akio Lee. 3 stars out of 5 from Wolf Creek.
I think that's
117. 8.7 from Restore the Snyderverse guy. Dean Classified Monarch Eyes Only with a 9.2.
Wow.
Crash Purple Purple said 11 out of 10. Dad posted 8. 7.4 from Bat Fanatic.
Joshua, you're gonna have to DM me on Instagram and tell me like what's some of your biggest points of like why it deserves, like, because you're calling it a masterpiece, man.
Predator Killer of Killers is still my favorite film, but I give it 8.3 from Alien.
Yeah, Predator Killer of Killers is up there.
8.2, not bad. Yeah, looks like. I'm surprised by Trey. I was expecting higher. Wolf Creek said, hey, off topic, but did anybody else watch Weird Al's Jurassic Park music video or just me? I didn't.
I haven't seen it yet, Wolf Creed, but I'll have to. I'm curious to see how that goes. My father-in-law loves Weird Al, so.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of good comments. I felt the same way, Trey, but Gareth came in clutch with this film, and Henry was in Bridgerton and Wicked.
Yeah, I haven't seen Wicked either, which honestly, for the very reason of how much this was my first interaction with Jonathan Bailey as an actor, and I was thoroughly impressed. And Corey, I don't know if you knew this, but he's a clarinet player too. He's actually a very talented musician, and he decided to join Gareth Edwards in the studio when Gareth was checking out what Alexandre had for the score and having the live recordings going on. And he brought his clarinet, and they actually let him sit in and do the clarinet solo for his character. So that, I mean, this dude, Jonathan Bailey, is just like, I'm a musician. I'm a dinosaur nut. He played a dinosaur nut perfect. He's like, I'm like crushing on the dude a little bit. Like, I don't know. He just did a wonderful job. Like, to me, like his performance, especially him and Ali as Duncan, were so authentic, and I loved their performances. I was really blown away by them, and they were part of the enjoyment. And I wish they had even more screen time in a way, rather than the family. But yeah, no. So I think another great addition to the Jurassic World franchise. I can understand the controversy that is kind of going on with people, just the mixed reviews. I think, like I said, this is going to be a very difficult and controversial film because it goes heavier in the mutant abomination dinosaurs. It is more of a B movie, but that's not a bad thing. That does feel like a Michael Crichton story. I mean, look at Congo. You know, there's the regular gorillas, and then there's these gorillas that were trained by mankind to be more aggressive, and they look like abominations a little bit. I mean, it felt very much like a Michael Crichton book on the screen, you know. And Steven Spielberg played the character as well. I did not know that about Steven Spielberg. That's incredible. But I just think worth seeing, worth watching. It's a great movie for sure. But that's my take. Guys, as we start to wrap up, yes, please, if you go see Jurassic World Rebirth again this weekend, please tag us at _Bat Channel and Super Bro Corey, so that way we can give you guys a shout out, tweet it out. I really hope this film does well, because that's the only way they're going to know to make more, and to hopefully give Gareth Edwards a chance to really do something that's his style and have the time to perfect it, like I know he would. So I'm curious to see where we go from here. I mean, life continues to find a way for my favorite dinosaur franchise, and I can't wait for Primitive War. It looks so good. That's gonna be our next dinosaur film that we talk about. But guys, thank you so much. As always, it helps us out so much. When you guys smash that like, you share this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Help us get to 10,000 subs. Spread the word about the channel. When you talk about our streams, tag us. I want to hear from you guys. And leave a comment. Replay crew, if you're watching this and it's not live, go ahead and comment your thoughts all the way through. I love reading them and hearing your guys' ideas. Thank you so much once again. I am your host with Super Bro Corey. And don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time.
Same bat channel. See you later, guys. Have a wonderful night. Be good to
Have a
each
good
other.
night, everybody. Go watch it again.